Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and this weekend wore me out. And the next weekend's probably going to wear me out more, because the next weekend there's going to be it's going to be more of a baseball weekend. Now, I want to start you out with this clip. This is gold, no pun intended.
Peter, how do you expect gold to do during a rising debt environment?
Well, I think the single bullish factor for gold is the continuing major accumulation by key central banks, particularly China. They don't do these things for trades. They don't do it because of speculation. They're doing it because they want to get away from one thing, which is the dollar. That's why they've been aggressive sellers of things priced in dollars, particularly bonds. And they recognize the changes in the world that are happening because of what's happening to BRICS. I think it's very important, before we go, to spend a couple of minutes on what this BRICS situation could mean, and I'd love to hear Michael's view, because that is going to require, to be successful, something different than the dollar. And that's what they're working on. And many of us are speculating it will be either a direct new currency or something that has partial backing of commodities, in particular gold. And that's one of the major reasons why those countries have been accumulating it so aggressively.
Okay. Michael, do you agree that a gold-backed currency could be in the works?
No, I think there's some simple numbers I'll leave you with, David. 67% of the reserve assets globally are US dollars today, 7% of gold. The facts are undeniable. Over the last 2 to 5 years, the Chinese, the Russians, the Indians have been selling their treasuries relentlessly. And now the money's showing up and they're buying gold. Why are they doing that, David? Well, US dollar is the reserve currency of the world. I'm not here to say it's going to change. Reserve currencies take decades to rotate out of. But what you're going to see over time is, if you're selling US dollar, are you going to buy the Japanese yen? Highly unlikely. Are you going to buy the euro? Highly unlikely. You're going to buy the won? Probably not at this point in time. So what do you do if you're selling your US dollars? You've got to buy money, real currency. The currency that's existed for 2,000 years is gold. And you're seeing that in relentless central bank purchasing. So US dollar, 67%, gold, 7% of FX reserves. I see over time that 7% going to 10, 12, 15%, US dollar going from 67 to 60. That would have massively robust implications for the gold price going forward. And you just have to ask yourself, what else are they going to buy? And I think that's the key, where you're seeing the purchase of central banks is they're rotating out of the US dollar into gold. I'm not so concerned about when the BRICS start their own currency, what's going to replace it. What's replacing it now is gold. Gold's been money for thousands of years, will continue to be money for thousands of years. And that's the trend we're seeing in real money flows. In the physical commodity market, you're seeing that. It hasn't translated yet to the equity markets, but that's the next step. That's the most exciting part for investors, to be able to capture that in the equity markets.
There we go, folks. You know the drill. That's why Miles Franklin's my sponsor. You can go use code DAI Gold. info@milesfranklin.com is the email. 952-929-7006. Email or call them to get the best pricing. You know the deal. We should know about, that was reality I just showed you, but this is the Bitcoin distraction. I do own one Bitcoin because I do think there will be a lot of money made on the distraction that I believe is intentionally being created. We should know by Friday if a spot ETF is going to be approved in 2023, or if it's kicked off in 2024. Yasin Mubarak makes a good point when the CEO of Grayscale says this: something might be brewing. It's been a 10-year dress rehearsal. We're ready for the main event. Well, to me, the main event is XRP. The dress rehearsal was Bitcoin and Ethereum, which still do not work to this day in terms of what they were designed to do. Gas fees for Ethereum. Bitcoin does not work as a payment system, which is what the Satoshi white paper, the four Satoshi white paper, because Homeland Security met with the four Satoshis. But anyway, moving along. eGrag Crypto had, I didn't cover this one. I forgot to cover. He did one of his charting things and called it the Lollapalooza effect. Predicts 13,592%, rally to $90. I don't see why not. I was there in 2018 when none of the positive things that XRP has going for it now were in existence yet. None of them. If it can do that in 2018, you better believe this is possible now. All right, just going to leave this here. Massive pressure. I like this. Look what this guy put together.
Big banks and financial institutions are much more interested.
That's Brooks Entwistle from Ripple. Don't know if I'm saying his last name right.
Today than they certainly were 5 or 6 years ago. We rolled out the product the first time.
As more companies like Veeam start to use XRP and use digital currencies in their funding flows, they're going to be putting a massive amount of pressure on banks and larger financial institutions to start using this as well, or they're going to be toast.
It's much better even now versus even just the past few years. And with that comes sort of big name institutional adoption that I think will be encouraging for others that might have been on the fence.
But XRP, it's really about this very fundamental driver of demand. Yeah, I mean, if XRP is going to be inserted deeply into the financial system, the market cap has to be orders of magnitude bigger. It has to be able to support institutional flows in the orders of magnitude of trillions of dollars. You know, today it's a lot smaller. As more companies like Veeam start to use XRP and use digital currencies in their funding flows, they're going to be putting a massive amount of pressure on banks.
Oopsies. Check this out. Another day, another hit piece on crypto. This is Sam Lyman he's a Forbes contributor, I believe. Contributor at Forbes. A reminder that these numbers are more likely to reflect the total volume of crypto that flowed between entities with links to Hamas. So that basically, this is Elizabeth Warren, you know, the Gary Genslers, the White House, and they're all trying to continue more of their lies to hang everything bad around the neck of. Why does it feel cold? Hold on a second. Is my door open? You may have heard my bedroom shoes. My bedroom shoes are, my wife hates them. My dad gave them, the official father gave me these bedroom shoes for Christmas, and they make loud sounds as I walk across the floors in the morning, and my wife hates them. And yes, my door was open. I was getting a cold breeze here. Turns out my 17-year-old, go figure, 17-year-old leaves the front door, doesn't close the front door when he goes to school. So the door's wide open and I'm sitting here getting cold, not knowing what's going on. We solved that problem. So now you've learned two things. My 17-year-old is scatterbrain, like a lot of them are, and my wife hates my bedroom shoes, but they're comfortable. Okay, so moving along, I want to show you this. This is the CNBC lying version of what's going on between our quote president and China.
President Biden is going to be meeting with President Xi in San Francisco. That's going to happen on Wednesday. Eunice Yoon's in Beijing right now, and I want to get a sense from her of what we can expect at that meeting. Eunice.
Thanks, Andrew. Well, this will be their first meeting in a year, and there's obviously no shortage of issues that are going to be on the table. The Biden administration has expressed that communication is key. The White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan had said that President Biden would seek to reestablish communication, especially when it comes to military exchanges. The other big issue, of course, is going to be help with Russia as well as Iran in the conflicts in Ukraine as well as the Mideast. That was also articulated by the Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, who had met with one of her Chinese counterparts, talking about how she had hoped that Chinese companies would not be.
Okay, so what you just got there is the standard CNBC propaganda, government propaganda media telling you their version of what things are like and what this is like. the president's going off to have these negotiations or whatever. Well, in the private group today, we will talk about what's actually true. This is all, of course, BS. In DAIXRP.com today, we're going to go and we'll tell you what is the real truth about what's going on. The thing we can't talk about in social media because you're not allowed to. Free speech is a thing of the past in the United States of America. So we'll be in the group. We're going to be talking about that, and I'm going to tell you what I think, and I'm going to show you what somebody else also thinks that what the actual plan is to bring in this new financial system, and we're going to talk about that too. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that out here on YouTube, if you'd like to see the CNBC Propaganda version of things like this, then that's great. But if you would like to see the real truth, go to DAIXRP.com, where we will be talking about the real truth and what I think the plan is today. Thanks for listening.